Most people will never tell you this truth, but the world belongs to those who understand one fundamental principle. Morality is a luxury that winners cannot afford, while others cling to outdated notions of fairness and honor. A select few have discovered the secret that separates the rulers from the ruled. Today, we're diving into the darkest corners of self-discipline and strategic thinking, exploring how Machiavellian principles can transform you into an unstoppable force in any domain you choose to dominate. But before we begin, ask yourself this question. Are you prepared to abandon the comfortable lies you've been told about success? Because what you're about to learn will fundamentally change how you view power, relationships, and achievement forever. 500 years ago, Niccolo Machiavelli wrote words that still make philosophers uncomfortable. It is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both. He understood something that modern self-help gurus refuse to acknowledge. The world is not a fair place, and those who play by moral rules in an amoral game will always lose to those who understand the real rules of power. Think about the most successful people you know. Not the ones who claim to be successful, but those who actually wield influence, accumulate wealth, and shape the world around them. Do you really believe they achieved their position through kindness and ethical behavior alone? Or did they master something darker, something more fundamental about human nature itself? The uncomfortable truth is that traditional morality often serves as a control mechanism designed to keep the masses compliant, while the truly powerful operate by different standards entirely. When you're fighting for resources, opportunities, or influence, your competitors are not bound by your moral constraints. They will lie, manipulate, and exploit every advantage, while you handicap yourself with principles that exist only in your mind. This is where Machiavellian self-discipline becomes your secret weapon. Unlike the feel-good motivation that fills most self-help content, this approach is built on cold, calculated reality. It recognizes that discipline without strategy is merely suffering, and strategy without discipline is merely fantasy. Let's start with the foundation: emotional detachment. Most people make decisions based on how they feel in the moment. They choose comfort over growth, immediate pleasure over long-term gain, and emotional satisfaction over strategic advantage. This emotional decision-making is precisely what keeps them trapped in mediocrity. Machiavellian self-discipline begins with the complete separation of emotion from decision-making. Every choice you make should be evaluated through one lens only. Does this move me closer to my objectives or further away from them? Not whether it feels good, not whether it's morally correct, but whether it serves your strategic interests. Consider this scenario. You're in a business meeting where taking credit for a colleague's idea would significantly advance your career. The moral person hesitates, weighs the ethical implications, and likely chooses to do the right thing. The Machiavellian calculates the risks, assesses the potential rewards, and acts based on pure strategic value. Who do you think gets promoted? This doesn't mean becoming a sociopath or abandoning all human connection. It means understanding that in high-stakes environments, sentiment is a liability that your competitors will exploit without hesitation. You can still maintain relationships, but they become tools in your arsenal rather than emotional dependencies. The next principle is strategic patience combined with ruthless execution. Most people confuse patience with passivity, but Machiavellian patience is active and calculating. Like a predator studying its prey, you observe, plan, and position yourself for maximum advantage before striking with overwhelming force. This requires developing what psychologists call delayed gratification, but with a twist. You're not delaying gratification for moral reasons or because someone told you it's the right thing to do. You're delaying immediate rewards because you've calculated that waiting will yield exponentially greater returns. Build your discipline like building an army. Each small victory over your impulses strengthens your capacity for larger conquests. When you choose the difficult path over the easy one, you're not building character in the traditional sense. You're building the psychological infrastructure necessary to execute complex strategies that weaker minds cannot sustain. The most successful Machiavellian practitioners understand that information is power, and controlling information flow gives you control over reality itself. While others reveal their intentions, emotions, and strategies freely, you learn to operate in shadows, revealing only what serves your purposes. This means developing exceptional observational skills while maintaining an impenetrable exterior. Study people's weaknesses, motivations, and behavioral patterns, but never reveal your own. When someone asks about your plans, give them enough truth to seem honest while concealing your real objectives. When they share their vulnerabilities, file that information away for future use. Remember, in any competitive environment, knowledge asymmetry creates power asymmetry. The person who knows more while revealing less holds all the strategic advantages. Now, let's address the elephant in the room, the morality question. Society has conditioned you to believe that success achieved through manipulation or strategic thinking is somehow tainted or illegitimate. This is precisely the kind of thinking that keeps you subordinate to those who understand the real rules of the game. Morality is a social construct designed to maintain order among the masses. It serves a purpose in society, but applying it rigidly in competitive situations is like bringing a rule book to a street fight. Your opponents certainly aren't consulting their moral compass when they're trying to outmaneuver you. The most powerful people in history understood this distinction. They could be charitable in public while being ruthlessly strategic in private. They could maintain the appearance of virtue while exercising the reality of power. This isn't hypocrisy. It's understanding that different situations require different approaches. Consider the difference between being feared and being hated. Fear can be a tool of influence when applied correctly, while hatred only creates enemies. The skilled Machiavellian inspires just enough apprehension to ensure compliance while maintaining enough charm to avoid triggering active opposition. This brings us to perhaps the most crucial element, developing emotional intelligence for strategic purposes. While you detach from your own emotions, you must become exceptionally skilled at reading and manipulating the emotions of others. Every person you encounter has psychological buttons that can be pushed, fears that can be exploited, and desires that can be leveraged. This doesn't mean causing unnecessary harm or suffering. It means understanding that people are motivated by self-interest, and aligning their self-interest with your objectives is far more effective than relying on their goodwill or moral character. Study the masters of this craft. Look at how successful politicians, business leaders, and strategists operate. They understand that people want to feel important, valued, and understood. They provide these feelings strategically, creating loyalty and cooperation without genuine emotional investment. The disciplined Machiavellian also masters the art of strategic vulnerability, occasionally revealing a calculated weakness or admitting a carefully chosen mistake makes others lower their guard and trust you more. This manufactured authenticity is far more powerful than genuine transparency because it serves a specific purpose while maintaining your strategic advantage. But remember, this approach requires extraordinary self-control and long-term thinking. Most people lack the discipline to execute Machiavellian strategies effectively because they require sustained effort over extended periods. You must resist the urge to reveal your cleverness, to gloat over your victories, or to seek immediate validation for your strategic thinking. The ultimate goal is not to become a heartless manipulator, but to become someone who can navigate complex social and professional environments with maximum effectiveness. You can still form genuine connections and experience authentic emotions, but you do so from a position of strength rather than vulnerability. As we reach the end of this exploration, consider where you stand right now. Are you someone who consistently gets outmaneuvered by those who understand power better than you do? Do you find yourself wondering why less qualified, less moral people seem to advance faster in their careers and relationships? The answer isn't that the world is unfair, though it certainly is. The answer is that you've been playing a game without understanding the real rules. You've been handicapping yourself with principles that your competition doesn't share, then wondering why you can't compete effectively. Machiavellian self-discipline offers you a choice. Continue operating under the illusions that keep most people powerless, or develop the strategic thinking and emotional control that separates the influential from the influenced. The question is not whether you're capable of this transformation. The question is whether you're ready to abandon the comfortable fiction of moral superiority in exchange for the uncomfortable reality of actual power. The choice, as always, is yours. But remember this: while you're deciding, others are already acting.